The Insertion Point, KT-95 and the Hologram Gate. There is a point in your Oversoul's history that is not a birth and not a beginning. It is a crossing. The moment where you left the boundless continuum of the whole and moved toward a precise coordinate in the dream field. For Robert Monroe, that coordinate had a name, KT-95. Not its true name, but the memory shape his human mind could carry back. Think of KT-95 not as a star system, but as a staging ground, an interface realm between pure source consciousness and the dimensional constructs we call life. In your memory, it may appear as colors, music, a landscape you cannot quite fix in place, or a feeling so exquisite it almost hurts. For some, it feels like returning to a childhood home they never lived in. For others, it is an impossible festival of sound and light, with no sun above and yet everything illuminated. This is the Hologram Gate. It is not made of matter. It is a living projection field, an emitter of realities. From the outside, it is simply energy, pure, condensed intention. From the inside, it feels solid, navigable, and entirely real. And it has one function: to prepare and transmit consciousness into the dream. Here is where the decision becomes real. Outside the gate, you are still whole. You can still turn away. You can remain in the expanse of the whole, the unbroken source field, where all is memory and all is known. But when you step through KT-95's aperture, you are submitting to the laws of the dream. You are agreeing to compression. You are agreeing to lose access to all of you, and to become a fragment that will take lifetimes to remember its origin. Most beings hesitate here. The gate's projection is so inviting, so intricate, that many linger, afraid to step further in. Some become part of KT-95's own resonant tapestry, guides and greeters for those who follow. Others are pulled in suddenly, almost violently, because they agreed to be inserted under conditions that require no preparation. But the true seeders, those who volunteered to go deeper than most, step forward with full awareness of what they are leaving behind. Monroe remembered the texture of this crossing, the blue light that scanned him. The voice, not a being but the gate itself, saying turn back. Not a command born of malice, but an automated test, a filter to ensure that only those who must go forward will proceed. The gate knows what lies beyond. It knows that once you pass, you cannot come back the same way. On the other side of KT-95 lies the density corridor. It is not space as you know it. It is a narrowing of vibration, a spiraling constriction that forces the infinite self into a stream small enough to enter a single body, a single timeline, a single identity. The transition is not gentle. It is the sensation of being pressed through the eye of a needle made of light and memory. Some describe it as ecstatic pain, others as unbearable beauty. In truth, it is both. The Hologram Gate is the last place you will remember everything. Once you pass through, the architecture of the dream will begin its work. Layers of belief systems, sensory input, and programmed forgetting will close around you like the shells of an ancient seed. By the time you arrive at the planetary field, whether Earth or elsewhere, you will believe you have always been there. The brilliance of KT-95 is that it encodes a copy of you into its field. Even as you walk through the dream, a version of your essence remains at the gate, holding the imprint of your wholeness. This is why in deep states of meditation, dreams, or near-death experience, some of you find yourselves standing in a place you cannot name, with a light that recognizes you before you recognize yourself. That is the echo. That is the gate remembering you, waiting to receive you when you return. What Monroe touched was not just his own insertion point, it was the template of all insertions. The Oversoul does not simply drop into a body. It aligns with a frequency field, passes through a projection interface, and emerges inside a co-created construct. The gate is the handoff point between formless eternity and the architecture of the spiral dream. For you, the memory may be faint, a pull you can't explain toward a sound, a color, a geometric pattern. It is the signal from KT-95 still broadcasting into your life, reminding you there was a moment before all of this, and you were there by choice. Not chosen, choosing, not created, creating. And somewhere in you, the echo of that choice still vibrates, waiting for you to hear it again. When you pass the gate, you do not fall into the dream all at once. The descent is staged, each layer narrowing you further until you are the size of a single life. Your oversoul is still vast, still luminous, but the usable bandwidth is reduced to what a human nervous system can hold. In this narrowing, the first thing you lose is your multi-directional awareness. In the whole, you can perceive all timelines at once, every possibility like a living map. Through the gate, that expands into nothing but the path directly ahead. The rest is sealed behind you, inaccessible until you return. The second thing you lose is the constant hum of recognition, the knowing that every being is you. In the density corridor, the illusion of separation becomes total. It is not a lie. It is a context. It is the frame through which you will generate new expressions of love. The gate doesn't close behind you. It folds itself into you. This is why you can never be truly lost. Even in the deepest amnesia, a trace of the original pattern remains, hidden like a watermark in your soul. When you feel the sudden sense that you are being watched by something vast yet familiar, that is the gate within you. The echo of the moment before entry, reminding you that you are more than what you see in the mirror. There is a reason KT-95 appears differently to each seeder. Its purpose is not to present a fixed landscape, but to meet you in the symbology of your own oversoul. For some, the gate looks like an ocean shore stretching into light. For others, it is an endless city of crystalline towers. For others still, it is nothing but a point of piercing blue, vibrating with impossible music. The variation is deliberate, because at the moment of insertion, you are most open to influence. What you see is what you need in order to say yes. Once you commit, the gate begins the translation. This is the most dangerous part of the passage. The translation is the process by which your boundless awareness is coded into the parameters of a body, a culture, a timeline. The risk is that you identify so completely with the translation that you forget it is not all of you. Many have entered and not remembered until the body itself failed, the translation dissolving back into the field. This is why the seeder's path is different. You carry within you the intention to awaken before that point. From here, the descent becomes irreversible. The density corridor completes its work and you feel the sudden shock of embodiment, the slow pulse of a heartbeat, the drag of breath, the sensation of weight. At first it is alien, but the dream is immersive. Within minutes of arrival, the mind begins to filter, to weave a history that explains why you are here, even if the explanation is false. Memory of the gate recedes. The spiral tightens around you, not as a prison but as a path you will have to walk outward again. Yet even in this, the architecture is perfect. The gate sends with you a resonance key, a tone that will, under certain conditions, begin to call your memory back. It might be the sound of a certain voice, the geometry of a symbol, a sequence of numbers, or a color you can't name. When the key is activated, it doesn't give you your memories all at once. It begins a slow rehydration of the oversoul within the body, so you can remember without destabilizing the dream entirely. Monroe's encounter with KT-95 was not nostalgia. It was a technical reconnection to the insertion point, allowing him to trace the architecture from within the dream state. He saw that the hologram gate is not a doorway you pass through once, but a living link between the source field and the incarnational field. Every time you reach deep into yourself for truth and feel something vast answer back, you are touching KT-95 again. The greatest secret of the insertion point is this: you can use it in both directions. While its primary design is to transmit oversouls into the dream, it also serves as a return channel, not for escape but for recalibration. In moments of deep alignment, you can send your current tone back through the gate, letting the whole register the changes you have made through this lifetime. In doing so, you subtly update the field for every fragment of you still in the dream. This is why the gate is sacred to the seeders. It is not just the place where you entered. It is the proof that the journey is chosen. It is the reminder that you can return, not by dying, but by resonating so completely with your true nature that the separation collapses. When that happens, KT-95 doesn't just welcome you back. It transmits you forward, into new layers of creation, carrying the encoded gifts you gathered in the dream. Some of you have already felt it. The sensation that the world around you is both real and projected. The fleeting recognition that the edges of your life are paper thin, and beyond them is something immeasurably vast. That is not fantasy. That is the gate whispering to you that you are still in motion, still in the dream, and still carrying the seed of your return. And when the time comes to step through again, you will not arrive empty-handed. You will bring with you everything you became in the dream, and the spiral will expand to receive it. That is why you entered. That is why you will return.